Well then, the leaks were right, weren't they? And so were most of the predictions. Hello, Meoni here, and welcome to a reactions and breakdown video for the keynote address that just took place at Las Vegas FanFest for 2018. And we have a lot to cover, and all of it is amazing and worth watching. So here it is, all broken down so you know exactly what was talked about. They first roll with a trailer for the next expansion, which we'll look at in a trailer breakdown video separately later, but it featured the unveiling of the next expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, titled Shadowbringers. The third expansion will be released in early summer 2019. The trailer mentions becoming the Warrior of Darkness and shows Xenos as the main protagonist, risen from the grave. Gunblade art is used everywhere throughout this trailer, and there is a very different direction with this CGI that I would advise you go watch for yourself. It's pretty cool. Yoshida comes on stage afterwards in a Bugs Bunny t-shirt and says nothing about it, but the fans go wild as they know what's coming, and they address this much later. They talk about how 5.0 will see the Warrior of Light facing off against the Garlean Empire and Xenos and Elidibus. 5.0 is where everything comes to a head in Garlemald, and they want to shed light on who the Ascians actually are in that storyline. To face off against the foes this time around, the Warrior of Light must become the Warrior of Darkness. How and why is answered in patch 4.5 apparently. 4.5 is releasing soon, and they say they'll talk more about it during the live letter tomorrow and probably give a date. So Shadowbringers 5.0 features is the next topic. Multiple new jobs are confirmed for Shadowbringers. However, one that isn't in 5.0 and is actually confirmed to be coming out with patch 4.5 is Blue Mage. Towards the end of the presentation keynote, the Square Enix CEO walks in wearing a blue cape and donning a staff and blue mask. "Are you sure you haven't forgotten to say one more thing?" he asks. "What is this outrageous costume you're wearing?" Yoshida replies. "We have more stuff planned for the live letter tomorrow, you know." He then says, "New job. People are asking for a new job." The president then said, "Never mind, Yoshida," and ran a video confirming Blue Mage. The video features a Blue Mage consuming enemies' abilities upon their defeat and is absolutely awesome. It would be in a higher quality, but for some reason the Twitch broadcast footage was incredibly dark, so stay tuned for that as a separate video out of Final Fantasy's official channel. Afterwards, Yoshida sinks to the stage in disbelief, saying every time he comes to America he has to show off. And then they go into further details. Blue Mage will not be for 5.0 and is actually again available for patch 4.5. Work was done by the dev team to get this ready in time for patch 4.5, Yoshida says. "It was so hard to release jobs during patch cycles, and Ninja was a lot of work. But I never said we wouldn't do it again." Even though many people seem to think he did, the crowd goes ballistic. Blue Mage will be the first limited job in 14, which they'll go into more details about later. It has no class connection and is a standalone job, but monster actions are actually learned from defeating them. A Blue Mage only duty will introduce it as of patch 4.45 called the Masked Carnival. The job itself will have a level cap of level 50 as of 4.45's release, and it will increase in the future. It will be raised at the time of patches, and it will also get new content every patch, which is what they want to continue to discuss in the live letter tomorrow. As for other features of Shadowbringers, there's a lot more. A new level cap of level 80 will be in place as expected, and plenty of new actions will be introduced to the game to various jobs. However, a battle system maintenance will take place to make your hotbars less full. They'll review all actions and role actions in that process. Another big move is that TP and MP are going to be combined into just MP. They want to reduce the amount of people complaining about different resources, and so want to merge these together for Shadowbringers content. Healers apparently will get changes too, such as apparently a visual representation of healing barriers on HP bars and how much that barrier has left, which is quite nice. There's a lot of big and small things to include as well, which they'll talk about over the next few months. Shadowbringers also has lots of new areas as to be expected from an expansion. They say they like to bring with each expansion a full game's worth of content, and they're not lying. The first they show off is art for the Raktika Greatwood and some scenes within, ruins from an unknown civilization, and this image where Yoshida says settlements will be included in tops of trees, and that don't fall, he says jokingly. The second area they show is Arang, which looks very deserty, and again the Twitch feed was very dark for some reason on these images, but it looks very exciting. There will of course be new beast tribes and dailies with this expansion, and one of which they announced is the new Mao, which looks absolutely adorable. And they also mention a return of species such as pixies and dwarfs to the series, but as of the context of this we don't know. It was sort of off the cuff how he mentioned it. Apparently up to 9 new dungeons will come as of 5.0's release. Additionally, a new high-end raid series will obviously be worked on since Omega just concluded, and new 24-man instances, which they point out the last part of the Ivalice chapter will actually be in patch 4.5. Crafting and gathering will see some love in 5.0, and Yoshida called it new and exciting. This is involving predominantly the restoration of the Holy See of ISHGARD city, back to its old glory using crafters and gathering classes to restore it over time, much like the Doman reconstruction efforts. They also mention ISHGARD as a possibility for a housing destination, but apparently you'll have to unite gatherers and crafters to make it happen. They also mentioned that fishers also have content for 5.0 that they're not mentioning here. There was also a mention of user-controlled farms as content, but the new job isn't farmer, they jokingly confirm. And with all these changes, there will be new gear and recipes for crafters as well. Other parts of 5.0 include new systems, and the first one, which was a massive surprise to me, but one that we recently have been talking about on various podcasts and videos, is trusts. Trusts will be making an appearance in 5.0, basically using similar AI techniques to the Grand Company Squadron AI to make it so that you can have NPCs that accompany you. Apparently it will be more adapted to 14 and not directly the same as Final Fantasy's 11 trust system. Select NPCs will join solo players in Shadowbringers areas and dungeons. This is not designed to replace players, but to help people through the content. As to which NPCs, they won't say at this time and have a good laugh about it. Apparently there will be adding new NPCs to join with as they go, which is pretty exciting. I would imagine they'll use the Scions. Another big feature to talk about is the new Game Plus feature. This is to revisit old patches throughout the game. This adds an option to play from 2.0, etc. at the strength of your current character's level, so they can go back and relive old content. There'll be more information to come on this, but they wanted to create a system to reinvigorate those old parts of the game that perhaps you want to revisit without creating a new character. The third game system they unveil is another big one, and this is World Visit. This is essentially cross-realm. Acting as a mega server, you can traverse between servers via Aetheryte, back and forth between your world and other worlds on the same data center. So you can do quests, hunts, treasure hunts, etc. all in the open world with other people from other servers. This also means that the main scenario quests can be used on this feature too, to make it so that you can go elsewhere if your server is congested at the launch of new content to do certain main scenario missions. This will be released before 5.0 to make sure that it works, so that when 5.0 comes along they don't have a repeat of Stormblood. Next up they talk about some other major announcements for Shadowbringers, and the first of which is that this is going to be the end of 32-bit Windows support as of 5.0's release. They want to make this decision to grow Final Fantasy XIV, and this was the best route to take as technology improves over time. The next major announcement was that there will be new North American and European data centers. This will involve a world regrouping. Servers were crowded at the start of Stormblood's launch, and they apologized for that, so they're opening a new data center in North America and a new data center in Europe. To make this happen, server regrouping has to be a thing, which will split the realms we have across these 2 data centers for NA and the 2 for EU. They're going to be giving 3 transfers to compensate players when this change happens, so they can be on the correct data center they eventually want to be on when the group of servers is separated into separate data centers. Apparently, a list of these servers and their placements on each of the 4 data centers will be revealed at the live letter tomorrow. At this point, they go back onto this, was that everything you wanted to share? And then there's a bit of camaraderie with Yoshida's t-shirt, essentially pointing at the bunny t-shirt in plain view of the camera. They don't want to talk about it, but it's fairly obvious that the Vieira rumor was also true as well. Apparently, they will be dropping a massive hint in the 4.5 patch in the Return to Ivalice conclusion raid of the new race, which is obviously associated with Final Fantasy XII and the Vieira race. Apparently they will have more information on that though in February at the Paris FanFest. And that pretty much wraps up the keynote. It's a lot of information to take in, but we can pretty much say that Blue Fever's leaks were completely true, and I'm amazed how many things I got right as a prediction as well. I'm pretty sure we got most of them right, especially with the cross-realm feature. Being able to hang out with other people on other servers is absolutely massive. I'm still trying to take in all of the information myself and sort of process it, and I'm sure you'll be the same. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.